I was watching college football after my Lewis Guy video, which you can go and watch on the channel right now if you're interested. It was really, really good. Didn't do very well in terms of views, but it was a really good video, so you should go and watch that after you've watched this one. And I was drawn to Georgia Tech beating Clemson. As a bit of a casual fan of college football, seeing Georgia Tech beat Clemson was a bit of a surprise, so it had me intrigued. During the game, I was interested to see who had a little bit of draft buzz. I like watching receivers. Personally, haven't done a receiver evaluation in a while, so I wanted to do one of those. And immediately, number 3 stood out just from the get-go. His name is Eric Rivers. Once I got more into the tape, I knew I had to do an evaluation on Mr. Rivers. I actually didn't know until like my second game into the tape that Rivers was the guy with the like triple, quadruple fucking 7X jersey that was on punt return. I didn't even know that was him until afterwards, so that was kind of funny to figure that out. Let's start off with the pre-tape. Before we get into the tape, we gotta look at the measurements. Rivers is listed at 5'11" and weighing about 175 pounds. He's in his 5th year of university in his first year with Georgia Tech. His first 2 seasons in university he spent at Memphis. He didn't register a stat and left after 2022 when he had a season-ending injury. He then had a decent season at FIU, and in a following year in 2024, he had a breakout year. 1,172 yards and 12 touchdowns on the season. This is when he transferred to Georgia Tech, which is where he resides now. In fact, they're actually playing as I'm recording this video. Well, like an hour while I'm recording this video. So we'll be watching that as well while I'm editing, which is fun. Kind of like a weird intersection. He's expected to run in a combine at around a 4.3. From what I've seen, 4.38 seems to be the popular consensus. And that 4.38 is really, really important because we're going to talk about his quickness and speed. Rivers is a blazer, no way about it. He's quick off the line from the release to the speed out of his breaks, and his stop-start speed is phenomenal. I'm expecting him to be in that low 4.3 when he's actually doing combine preparation, not during the mid-season where he's specifically training for that combine speed. I'm expecting it to be very, very close to hitting that 4.2 range. Keep this in mind as we watch this tape from here on out, because it really stands out and is especially important when you see him on these jet plays and jet motions, orbit screens, stuff like that. He's used a lot of those, and he has also been involved with the run game a little bit for Georgia Tech from those positions. 3-level threat plus. A 3-level threat for me is a receiver that is dangerous in short to intermediate to deep routes. The plus comes in because of his impact in the run game, and in more ways than one, but we will delve into that a little bit later. It was massively on display when he was at FIU, as well as of some of his early performances at Georgia Tech.
Taking a look at the quarterback, not understanding where all of his threats are coming from. They missed a big opportunity there.
Blitz coming. Another one-on-one. This one drops right down the chimney. First and goal. Haynes King.
But this watch number 23, Ashton Hampton. Look where his eyes are at the move point. You see his head looking back in the backfield, looking at the quarterback saying, hey, have you thrown the football yet?
Let's look at his run game first. His speed, directional fluidity, and vision come from his time as a returner, which really give him the tools to be effective in these situations. He's been used extensively there throughout his career at both teams, where he has seen a significant amount of game time. His short game is built around his release, the burst, speed, and the ability to fire off like a bullet, which is precisely what will translate well to the NFL when he makes it to the league. NFL scouts will view this as a particular point of emphasis, highlighting his ability to be a significant contributor to an NFL team. He shows quick cuts and bursts out of his breaks. He's a refined route runner and has high-level footwork. Slants, ins, and outs are part of his route tree that will be important with a more in-depth playbook as a predominantly slot receiver. The deep play has shown to be one of the brightest sparks. He can rip the top off of a defense and stretch the field extremely well.
In Panther history, Ferguson in motion. Jenkins time. Wants Rivers again. Wow. He's got Rivers again. Eric Rivers, touchdown FIU. What a night. The record expands for Rivers. 295 receiving yards for the game. Third all time Conference USA history. Carlos Henderson, Louisiana Tech at UMass, 12 catches for 326, and now that man, third all-time in league history, exploding for 295 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns.
This is helped by quality hands and great awareness, which means he's always going to be testing safeties. If he's manned up in a slot against a linebacker, it's just a straight up matchup nightmare. He often shows that he can shake coverages and find soft spots over the top. He did this massively at FIU. A common critique of Rivers is his blocking, which is attributed to his size profile. However, it reveals something a bit more important to me from the tape: the desire to block. He by no means is a terrible blocker. He isn't going to drive a cornerback 5 yards, but he's willing to engage. He looks for blocks and breaks down and engages with some technical ability. He could be coached and be a solid blocker when he adds a little bit more muscle. Which brings us, of course, to his size. There are very few players in the NFL that weigh 175 pounds. You could take Devonta Smith as a good example of a player that does and is very successful. So it's certainly not impossible to be the best and be a slighter receiver. However, the issues arise when being pushed off his routes and taking those big hits over the middle. Corners and nickels are significantly bigger in the NFL, significantly faster and more physical on the line when you get to the NFL. And he will have to be able to take that contact inside and out. The NFL is a different level. You know, when you're playing against smaller teams in college, it's easier to create separation. Not so much in the NFL, especially when the guys are bigger, stronger, faster. Overall, I think the Rivers is an early to mid second round pick if he continues to develop this season. That 40 is going to draw a lot of interest immediately, and his tape does speak volumes. Still, he hasn't had a crazy amount of production early on at Georgia Tech. Again, I'm making this before he's playing tonight. He needs some explosive games like after FIU. Like, he's had one season of over 1,000 yards. He had nothing his freshman year. He had an injury in his sophomore. Like, he needs some more production to be considered an early round pick. If he doesn't get elite production this year, I can see him fall into maybe a 3rd round pick. But I don't think there's any way the Rivers escapes the top 100 in terms of draft picks.
First down, FIU. 2 backs in the backfield with Jenkins. Play fake, wants it off for Rivers again. The deep ball, the extension, the catch. What a play, Eric Rivers. Touchdown, FIU. Spectacular grab.
Somebody needs to check Eric Rivers' hands for some sticker. Did you see him put that left hand out there and say, got it? Pull it in one hand. He's having an incredible night.
And that's it. That's my Rivers evaluation. I'm a big fan of him, actually. I really enjoyed watching his tape. It was good to get back into college ball. Gonna drop this one just immediately as I finished it. Members usually get stuff like this a day early, but today just want to get it out. And then, yeah. Thank you to all members. Much appreciated. It was a little bit down today, I ain't gonna lie. I just don't have a contract for this season, and it was kind of, you know, playing on my mind a little bit. I got some stuff maybe cooking up, but people are making announcements in Europe and not involved. It kind of hurt my feelings, but, you know, it is what it is. ELF season. I am currently writing the script on Lucky. We'll have that video out very soon. Yeah, if you guys like this one, like it, subscribe it. We need to bump up some of these views. My views are low. I put a lot of effort into this, and I'm not getting pushed that much. So hopefully this one will be better, but I doubt it. But we'll find out. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time. Let me know who you want next in college football. See you in a bit.